as I always say at the start of all my posts, I hope some of the materials that I'm able to share on this post could get an average person like myself going from a place of good to greatness as we strive to construct ourselves, to build a legacy for ourselves that is obviously sustainable and that would hopefully last. Let me start by wishing everyone once again a very happy New Year 2017. My prayers this year is that for each and every one of us, in everything that we endeavour, we would have all the boundaries falling for us in pleasant places, that with the same power, tenacity and mindset that we started the year, we would end it, with that same spirit, in Jesus' name. Now, 2016 is obviously gone. For some of us, it was a beautiful year, a year where we, did major things in our life and hit major milestones. And for some, equally, it was years that they probably wouldn't want to remember anymore for obvious reasons to them, not specifically pinpointing anything at all. But that's just the way life is. Sometimes life is good, sometimes life is harsh. There's nothing to guarantee that we're going to coast through life effortlessly without having hard times or unpleasant memories or hurdles we have to cross over from particular times to time. But the beauty of the start of every new year is that it gives us a fresh start, to go again at those things that we probably struggled with or we failed to achieve in the previous year. It's like pressing a refresh button or reset button on one of your devices, and although you still got the device at hand, you've put it back in a position where it's clogged out. It's all the things that are clogging it up and all and it's going at it again. It's about to start afresh, and for that reason, at the start of the year, you find a lot of people that sort of make resolutions and make plans, promises, and say, at the turn of this year, this is how I'm going to live my life going forward. But the problem we find is that yes, they make these plans, yes, they make these resolutions, yes, they say, make these promises, and in the deepest part of their heart, they want to keep it and follow up with it or follow through with it or do it religiously as they wish, at the start of the year or the turn of the year when they made these promises or they struck that deal with themselves. But as I said, what we find is a few months down the line, when all the pressures and all the chaos of the environment and the world we live in, all the noise and everything that's seeking for our attention comes in, a lot of us totally forget that, we even had a plan at the start. The plan just goes out the window and, we're just like we're grasping for survival in the sinking world. We totally forget the plan that we laid out, that we carefully practiced out, that if I could do things this way, I would get to where I want to go. So that brings me to what I really want to talk about today. Is about identifying these things that stop us from getting to that place that we want to get, or the things that stop us from fulfilling those goals and those resolutions that we've set aside from the start of the year. You know, the difference between us as individuals and corporations is that a corporation will set that same goal for itself, but then he would put humans in there and they would have a strategic plan, of how they are going to follow through on these things, and they will do it step by step. And oftentimes you realize, because they're keeping to the plan, they hit their targets. But with humans, and in the corporation, in the world of corporations, there's still a lot of competition, so there's still a lot of peer pressure, external pressure, that they experience. But because they just stick on the plan that they follow, and don't get distracted or don't let the noise of all the competition affect them, then you realize that they tend to get to where they're going, or they tend to meet their goal. And when they declare their half-year profit or their end-of-year profit, it normally supersedes, what it was before. And that's the same way it should be applied with human beings. But, as I said, as human beings, we tend not to employ anyone who's going to follow the strategy or the plan, or who's going to help us attain that resolution, or follow that resolution we put through. The onuses of making that happen normally falls on us as human beings. And so for that reason, I wanted to just sort of talk about 5 things that I feel personally as human beings are major forms of distractions that unconsciously creeps us into us and become habitual and stop us from fulfilling those goals and those plans and those resolutions that we set for ourselves at the start of the year. And the first one of those, the very first one, I've got 5 of them. The very first one I think is a major distraction is the one called technology. And I said technology because it's easy for me to use that word to encompass everything else that's in it. Technology in itself was made or has been developed in a way to make life more easy, for the human beings. But never has there been a time where, like now, where man is so dependent on, the use of technology for its earthly functionality, or for its sensible earthly functionality, I should say. In the past, technology, when we talked about it, it used to be like NASA spacecraft, or, an invention, development of light, and, but when we talk about technology now, even our kids, 2, 3 years old, they have an understanding, or they have the technology has a user-friendly interface for a 2, 3 year old kids to operate it properly. So I'm talking about our tablets, our smartphones, our TVs, our computers, our games, so many things that it's just been developed to make us comfortable, to make us just settle in our comfort zone. And it's so captivating that once you start with it, sometimes, as time, they say, is an element of illusion, you would think you've only spent, maybe 10 minutes there, but before you look at it, you've probably spent an hour there. The major culprit within that line of technology is our smartphone, our social media, and the internet. Social media being the worst. Research does show in the UK that an average person has a minimum of, this was in 2015, average person has a minimum of the sort of 5 social media accounts. And that's easy to count, because if you think your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your Snapchat, your Google Plus or YouTube account or channel, and you could go on. So the average person does have, about 5 social media accounts. The most troubling thing is that they spend in a day an hour 40 minutes surfing each of these accounts. Now, this is not surfing the internet or or working on it. This is just surfing your social media accounts. So if we look at it, like the working week itself is capped, I think, between 40 and 60 hours per week. If we multiply 1 hour 40 minutes times 5, which is 5 days in a week, that's bringing us close to about 8 or 8+ hours in a week surfing just social media. That probably amounts to a whole hour of a working day within that week, because we're excluding the internet, we're excluding, taking phone calls, returning your emails, and you could realize when you do this consecutively over a period of time, you could realize how easy it is for you to be so unproductive in your work and put the most important things aside, which are like following the resolution. It could be like, I'm meant to go to the gym, or okay, let me just look at this, social media, and then before you know it, session for your gym, your class in the gym has gone by. So it's a massive form of distraction where you wouldn't know, but it just puts you in a comfort zone. So for me, I say we have to get to a stage with technology where, because most of what we say are distracting us at digital, as humans we have to have what we call digital responsibility. That responsibility is the onus is on ourselves to know when we want to use this thing, when we want to reply emails, when we want to look at prompts from our social media, when we want to browse Twitter, when we want to just have baseless conversations on the phone. I was mentioning about the hours we spend on it. Well, all that in that research, the funny thing is, once you get a social media prompt, it takes, and you were doing something before that prompt, it takes you 10 to 15 minutes to get fully focused back on what you were doing. So imagine you add that to the hours spent alone just surfing, and then you add the hours, the minutes that it takes you on every distraction to get focused back on what you're doing. Your day will definitely be unproductive. I don't care what anyone says. If we spend that much time just doing baseless things and comfortable things, then it's impossible to meet up to the standards that we set for ourselves, as goals, as plans, as targets. There are people who work so hard and still don't meet these goals. How much more people who just want to do it que sera. That's how I always like to say. So yes, we need to set that form of digital responsibility for ourselves so that we can curb this distraction of social media. Number 2, what I want to talk about is procrastination. Procrastination in itself, it relates to the technological family indirectly, because the use of social media, for instance, as far as could cause you to procrastinate on other things. The use of social media, or the use of technology, or browsing the internet, or just messing around on Snapchat, they're pleasurable things. And I looked at the definition of procrastination. It says the willingness or the practice of delaying something that is unpleasant by doing pleasant things. So the practice of delaying something that's unpleasant, or something that's going to take us out of our comfort zone, just because we want to do things that are pleasant. So we procrastinate. So practice of doing things that are important and that we know are going to stress us, or is going to cause us to use our brain or use our effort, or just ruffle our waters a bit at the expense of just doing things that are comfortable. So watching TV, sitting, doing nothing, listening to music, streaming, that's why I call it related to technology, but indirectly procrastination on its own has got its own sort of embodiment of the things that are in it. And it's more from us ourselves to make that decision. The person who procrastinates doesn't believe he is procrastinating. He thinks to himself, oh, I'm good, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it, in a minute, I'll do it. But he's sitting there not doing nothing, and before you know it, that time catches up with you, and it's literally too late for you to do anything else. The other day I was looking at something, and it was saying that procrastination is also like a voluntary intention. So you voluntarily intend to not to do something, even though you know that you're going to be worse off by not doing it. So you know that you've got to do it, but you choose not to do it. But in your mind, you choosing not to do this thing is going to make you worse off. Prime example, you've got an exam tomorrow morning, and some friends say to you, "Oh, let's go to the club," and you haven't read properly for this exam. You've got an interview, you haven't prepared yourself, you've got a presentation, you haven't got everything all in time. But you want to go and do something more pleasurable, for a period of time, and then you come back knowing you've bitten into the time that you should have used, or you ought to have used, to prepare yourself properly for the task that you have ahead in the next day of the morning. Worst of all, you don't wake up early in the morning, but you haven't slept well, you haven't ironed your clothes, you haven't polished your shoes and done all the religious things that you ought to do to get yourself fresh, set and ready for the task ahead in the morning. But you want to go and do silliness with your friends, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, you watch TV. It's misplaced priority, and another way, it's procrastination. So we've got to make that choice as human beings. When we are not going to be distracted by the noise around us. We're not going to get people to allow us to draw us, or into that zone where we ourselves we end up being procrastinating on things, or technology. We're not going to let us. We're going to know when it has to be done. It has to be done now, and we're going to keep it moving from there. Third one I want to speak about is self-doubt, and I feel that's quite important, because in itself a lot of people who doubt themselves, it's not personally, I don't believe, because they think they don't have the mental capability or capacity to do those things in which they set ahead of themselves. I think firstly they doubt because they haven't really got control of their mind. I think they're like fickle-minded people, and I could be wrong, but this is just my own observation. I think they're like fickle-minded people who just let things that other people say come into their head and sort of kill their desire. So they begin to doubt themselves. I think like these are the kind of people that they would have a goal and set a goal and plan or resolution for themselves, at the start of the year, and then just because they've not guarded their heart with all diligence, they've allowed all sorts of people to speak into those, someone says I'm planning to lose weight, then so you can't lose weight, the way you eat, you might as well just stay eating. Or someone says, look, I'm gonna stop doing food, you can't do that, how are you gonna survive and everything? Then they begin to doubt themselves, the belief that they had in themselves when they set that goal and desire and that plan for themselves, because they've opened their mind up to what other people say. It kills their own desire and allows them to gets them to begin to doubt their own capacity to achieve that thing that they set for themselves. But what I'm trying to say is we can't, as individuals, constantly be looking at ourselves from the mirrors of from the reflection of the mirrors of what other people say to us. We have to look at ourselves from the reflection of the mirror that we see ourselves in, because it's like you're, and I made this analogy, like it's like you're sitting in a carnival, you're dancing in a carnival party, and everyone there is, a sort of mirror, and then you want to see yourself, and then you're going to see yourself crowded with all sorts of people. You're not going to see yourself, by yourself, and you're not going to be able to have the mental ability to make decisions by yourself because you're distracted. Your eyes and your ears and your mind are discerning so many things, at one given time. So it's important that, in order to curb self-doubt, that we begin to see ourselves in our own mirror. We begin to believe in ourselves. We begin to know that we are capable. We begin to understand that we have the capacity because we have the breath of life in us to achieve. And we begin to embrace it and enjoy it. Because the minute you know that once you have a life, you are not dead, you are alive, that once there's the only time your hope is totally gone and forgotten, when there's breath of life, when it's gone away from you, when this breath of life is in your being, you're capable as a human being to achieve more than you think or desire. So for that alone, we should always enjoy. So we have to know that we have to understand that we have to always embrace the fact that we are. And in those three things, we have to always believe in ourselves. Because knowing those things, it sets your mind on a self-focus. Because, nobody else could tell me that I'm a human being. I know that I'm a human being. Nobody else can tell me, oh, I'm alive. I know I'm alive. I'm talking, I'm breathing. And once I begin to embrace that, and I'm not just getting that from the fact that, it's the clothes that I'm wearing that makes me, know that I'm alive, or my watch or my shoes that makes me know that I'm alive. I begin to know that within myself, strip away everything else, as a human being, I'm alive. And I've got the power of a sound mind, and I can go after anything I want with all the determination and the strength that's in me through the power of my being alive. So that's the third one. The fourth one, which is equally important, is the friends we keep. So I call it social circles. I don't think I'm going to say much of this because I think once you know you're alive and you embrace the fact that you're alive, then you should know the kind of people that you keep around you that wouldn't distract you from your goal. This is not rocket science. This is you knowing if you want to stay out of sort of jail, you can't hang around with friends who are armed robbers. It is as simple as that. If you're a woman and you want to achieve something, you want to have a good reputation for yourself, then you can't hang around with girls who sleep with aristos. It's pretty simple. These things are not rocket science. These things are plain for the eyes and the brain to discern. So I don't really need to say anything. The world uses the phrase increase by association, or they say show me a friend and I know who you are. So if you've set a goal or plan for yourself, if you want to lose weight, you can't keep hanging around with people who are sloppy and just don't want to go to the gym. It's simple. If you want to build a car, then you can't just hang around with someone who's skinny and just doing nothing. You're gonna have to keep around those circle of friends that fitness fanatics, and they just love to push, and they like to eat healthy, and that's just the way it is. So the circle of friends you surround yourself with would give you that focus on the goal and the resolution that you've set yourself, and it will take away the distraction from any other things. That's all I have to say about that. The fifth one, which I think encompasses and puts everything I want to say, or I've said about the technology, about procrastination, about social circles, and about about self-doubt and social circles. The last one, which I think encompasses all of it together, is what I would call our blurred vision. Now, no matter what goal or resolution we set for ourselves, if we don't have no vision of the end result of where we want to be before we set that goal, then any of those ones ahead, the technology, the procrastination, the self-doubt, circle of friends, would easily, if not all of them, could easily just come in and just take control. And they would nicely take control, would be comfortable, would be sitting where we are at the beginning of 2017. I can guarantee at the end of 2017, if there's no vision. The Bible says, where there's no vision, the people perish. Not only that, it says, write the vision down, make it plain. Even though it tarries, it will surely come to pass. You have to have a vision of the end goal. I mean, breaking news is, you had the vision, that's why you set the plan. Because it's not just a wishful thinking. In as much as it is a wishful thinking, it's a vision or wish that you want fulfilled. So you have to have visions. You have to have vision boards. You have to write these things down. You have to have an end result of where you want to be, where you like to be, where you like to see yourself, what way you like to carry, what job you have to do. So when you have that end result and your imagination goes out and it locks onto that end result, which is not what you'd see. So faith is in work here, because it is an evidence of what you hope for, things that are not seen. So you're hoping for it, you're not seeing it, but in your mind you've seen the end result, that this is where I want to be, this is the car I want to drive, this is the area and neighborhood I want to live in, this is the friends I want to, these are the way of life and style that I want to, you have this end result of it. Once you keep on that vision in place, in the forefront of your mind, and that's why I say it's good to have things like vision boards, write it down, stick it around you as often as you can see it, so it could always be in the forefront of your mind. Then you're working towards a goal. So if you're a fat person, or you're a thin person, and you want to carb, or you want to shape down, put pictures of those kind of people you want around you, put them around you. Those are your end results. So that every time you walk into them, you see them, and even if you're distracted, the moment you see them, you have the knowledge. Even if you don't do it, you have the knowledge that, oh, do you know what? This is what I did say I was going to be like, or this is what I did say. This is the home that I did say I'm going to live in. This is the car that I did say. What am I doing now? Am I on course with my actions? Are the distractions around me allowing me to do this? Once you begin to see that on a daily basis, tend to give yourself the nudge and put yourself back on track to get to where you want to. So those are my 5 things that I feel distract us majorly from reaching our goals, our resolution, our plans and our purposes for our life year on year. Having said that, there are millions and zillions of other things that are forms of distractions, resources, money, all sorts of girls, boys, all sorts of other things. But for me, those are all external things. I think the things that we have the power to control ourselves, for me, that's my list of 5.